4 members of the Provisional Irish Republican Army were planning a bombing in Belfast. Conan had already activated the bomb when a mother and her child happened to pass by the targeted area. Doireann saw them and urgently tried to get them to leave, but it was too late and they were caught in the explosion. Quickly, they fled the scene and headed to Glencolmcille, County Donegal, to let things cool down. But in that place lived an old man, Finbar Murphy, who had fought in the Second World War and was now a contract killer. He was a close friend of a Garda officer named Vinnie. Doireann and her group stayed temporarily at Sinéad's place. Doireann's brother, Curtis, frequently beat Sinéad's daughter, Moya. One day, while fishing on the bridge, Finbar noticed bruises on Moya's neck. He wondered how she got such bruises because he knew Sinéad wasn't the type to hurt a child. The next morning, he visited Moya and noticed she seemed anxious. When he asked if something bad had happened, she didn't answer. Instead, she handed him a bullet. At that moment, Curtis arrived to get food for their group. Although Moya didn't say who gave her the bullet, Finbar suspected that Curtis had given it to her to keep her quiet. Finbar sought help from his boss, Robert McQue, bringing the bullet with him. However, Robert refused to get involved in the family's problem unless Moya herself reported it to the police. He advised Finbar not to be the one to report it, as doing so might expose his own identity and past. Out of compassion for Moya's situation, Finbar decided to eliminate Curtis, knowing that Moya wouldn't report the abuse to the police. As Curtis was heading home from a swim in the sea, Finbar accompanied him. Finbar began talking about target shooting, and Curtis was intrigued by Finbar's gun. When Curtis expressed a desire to see it, Finbar pretended to hand him the weapon but instead struck him on the head. Finbar put Curtis in the trunk and took him to the woods to kill and bury him there. However, when he opened the trunk, Curtis slashed him with a knife, cutting his right hand. Curtis managed to run, but Finbar shot him in the leg. As Finbar approached to finish him off, the gun misfired. Just as Curtis was about to retaliate, he was sniped by Kevin, another employee of Robert, who had been sent to assist Finbar. Curtis's sister, Doireann, began to worry when he hadn't returned by noon. She decided to search for him and took her gun, noticing that one bullet was missing. She went to Sinéad to ask questions, but Sinéad wasn't forthcoming. In frustration, Doireann choked her until Sinéad, gasping for air, managed to say that Curtis might have gone to the sea and could have drowned. Doireann used her connections and got a tip that there was a local mob boss in their area named Robert. She went to see him to get information about Curtis, but Robert denied knowing the missing brother. As Doireann was about to leave, she stepped on a bullet that had fallen from Robert's table. This made her suspicious that he was lying. Robert had no choice but to confess. He admitted that Curtis was dead and that Finbar was responsible. Robert tried to deceive Doireann, but she was quicker and shot him in the neck. Finbar and Kevin heard about what happened to their boss, so they quickly went there. Finbar learned from Robert's mother that the person who killed him was a woman looking for someone named June Curtis. He suspected that the group's next stop would be his house, so he and Kevin left and headed to Finbar's home. When they got close, they hid in a high place to observe the people inside his house. Doireann's group sensed that Finbar was outside watching them. Angrily, Doireann went out with a bat and started smashing Finbar's car. Her neighbor, Rita, came out, and in her frustration, Doireann punched Rita for interfering before they left. Finbar learned that the group he had clashed with was the bombers from Belfast. Fearing that the group would cause chaos, he made an agreement with Doireann. Finbar attempts to calm the situation by observing that they have each lost someone close to them and should call it even. However, Doireann refused because she believed that someone had ordered her brother's killing, and she wanted to find out from Finbar who it was. She told Finbar to come to Sinéad's bar with the person who hired him. Finbar and Kevin arrived outside the bar first, but Finbar sent Kevin away. He gave him all his savings so that he could start a new life. The bar was crowded at that time, which made Finbar even more worried. Inside, his friend Vinnie, a police officer, was also there. They were talking when he saw Doireann entering the bar. Vinnie decided to go outside for a cigarette, and as he stepped out, he encountered Conan, who was about to enter carrying a bag with a bomb. While smoking, he noticed a suspicious vehicle parked nearby. He became alarmed because he recognized the man inside. Vinnie went back inside and looked for the man he had encountered earlier. When he found him, he kept a close watch on him. Finbar approached Doireann, who angrily demanded to know who ordered the killing of her brother. Finbar was about to confess when Kevin interrupted them. Kevin started bothering Doireann, and she asked Finbar if Kevin was the person she was looking for. Kevin answered yes, so without a word, she shot Kevin in the stomach. Finbar was about to retaliate, but Conan, who was waiting, started shooting at him. Finbar managed to take cover and return fire, hitting Conan in the shoulder. Meanwhile, Vinnie seized the bag from Conan and attempted to leave the bar. Séamus, who was the lookout outside, spotted him and attacked Vinnie. Doireann shot at Finbar while he was in cover, but Kevin managed to intervene just in time. She shot him, hitting him in the back. Conan continued firing at Finbar while he attempted to assist Kevin. Finbar found a good angle to shoot Conan. Séamus ran to throw the bomb into the bar but was shot by Finbar before he could do so. He dropped the bomb, causing it to explode on him. Kevin, feeling his end nearing, bid farewell to Finbar but was shot in the head by Doireann before he could finish. She then fled the scene. Finbar chased after her, but knowing that Doireann was critically injured, he followed her quietly to see where she was headed. Doireann reached the church, where she eventually passed away.